Look, I know it's pretty and I know it's a Yamaha, and I know every second person at the dealership will be saying, it's a great first big bike. But let me say it loud and clear. The Yamaha R7 is a terrible choice for your first motorcycle. And today, I'm gonna be breaking down why. And yes, I'm ready for the kickback when the fanboys inevitably rush me down in the comments below. But by the end of this video and the 5 reasons that I give you, I bet you'll be on my side too. And you know what? I'll even give you some good alternatives. All right, number 1, it is way too expensive to be a learner bike. We're starting with the obvious here, and it's the price. Brand new here in Australia, a Yamaha R7 for the Lambs version is going to cost you $15,399 right away. That's before you even touch anything like insurance or gear or any add-ons you might want, like a slip-on exhaust or any mods. Now, looking at the typical age of a first-time rider, usually between 18 to 25, what kind of person in that age bracket has got that kind of cash to drop on a bike? The answer, not many. And that's why a lot of them choose to buy it on finance. You're going to be setting yourself up to be paying off that shiny toy for the next 3 to 5 years at an interest rate of 8 to 10%. And adding on dealer fees, finance fees, you're going to end up probably paying over 1.5 times that initial amount. And that is a whole lot of cash for something that you're probably going to end up dropping, stalling, scratching, or worse. It's kind of like learning to drive in a Ferrari. Looks cool until you hit the curb and have to pay the excess on your insurance. Speaking of which, insurance. Prepare to sell a kidney. Now, this is where it really hurts. I used to work in the insurance industry specializing in motorcycle insurance, and I have insured a butt ton of new riders on brand new R7s. And let me tell you, if you're under 25, prepare to take out a second job. I have lost count of how many times I've seen this exact same story play out. 18-year-old rider buys an R7 on finance. They need full comp insurance, so they drop another $4 grand on that. Crashes 2 months later, has to pay the mammoth excess fees, and then is still owing money on the bike. There's a reason why these companies charge an arm and a leg to insure you on these bikes, and it's because the crash statistics, they don't lie. I was once told by an RM, a relationship manager, for one of the insurers that we went through at my old job, that if you're a new rider and under 21 years old, you have an 80% chance of using your insurance in the first year. That means that something's happened and you have to claim. Now, I'm not trying to say this to scare you out of getting a bike or riding. I'm saying it because I saw it literally happen again and again. Moving on, number 3, you can get the same power and performance for cheaper. The R7 uses the same CP2 engine you'll find in the MT-07 and the XSR 700. So it's not some crazy race motor. But here's the thing, you're paying extra for the fairings and for that R branding. You can get pretty much that exact same performance in a more beginner-friendly package and for thousands less. As mentioned, at the end of the video, I'll give you some other recommendations for things that still might tickle your fancy with that kind of performance. Okay, number 4, and it is the riding position. I hope you like wrist pain, because the R7's riding position is full send sport bike. Low bars, high pegs, and your head somewhere near the front fender. For track days, cool. For learning how to do a U-turn in a car park, not so much. Seriously, trying to do figure eights or slow speed maneuvers on bikes like this is a bit of a nightmare. I learnt on my own Ninja 400, which is better, but when I took it to do my test, the instructor told me that it's gonna be harder on this bike than if I would have just used one of their nakeds. Riders of the R7 claim they can't seem to get a tighter turning circle than 2.5 car spots. Again, not great if you're trying to learn. When you're still learning basic bike control, a comfortable, upright position can literally be the difference between building confidence and tipping over or crashing. Okay, number 5, and it is the de-restriction lie. You may have heard the phrase, just get the Lambs version, and when you're ready later on, you can de-restrict it and you'll have a full powered bike. You won't even need to upgrade. Sounds easy, right? Wrong. Here in Australia, the Lambs and full powered versions actually have different motors. The Lambs version has a smaller size, 655cc versus 689 on the full powered. There's no quick mod or ECU flash to fully unlock the full power that it's capable of making. Even though it is technically possible by removing the restrictor plate, it is going to be a huge pain in the ass to actually do it. The hardest part is going to be finding someone to actually do it. Most dealerships will want nothing to do with you if you're looking to de-restrict your bike. And even if you do manage to get it done, your worries aren't over. Insurance might be an issue and you'll have to re-register it as a full powered bike. It's expensive, time consuming, and in most cases, not worth it. It's just a huge hassle and it might end up costing you more time and money. So look, I've just given you all of these reasons why you shouldn't get an R7 for your first bike. It's definitely not a bad motorcycle. We'll touch more on that later, but what should you get instead? If you're just starting out, I'd recommend going for something a bit smaller with more forgiving ergonomics and cheaper running costs. Bikes like the Yamaha R3, Kawasaki Ninja 4 or 500, and the Honda CBR 500R are all great options. They are still fun and sporty, fast enough for the street, and are a lot easier to learn on. But if you are still dead set on getting something as powerful as the R7, that's fine. But let's just look at some naked variants instead. Bikes like the MT-07 or Z650 offer the same or similar performance. They're cheaper to buy and to insure, they are comfier to ride, and just easier to learn on. You can have your cake and eat it too, without breaking the bank or putting yourself into a mountain of debt. And all that extra cash? Get some cool gear or some mods for the bike. You may want to put on an exhaust or do a tail tidy or whatever it is. You'll have more cash and you'll be less strapped. Alright, so I've given my opinion, but I don't want to be misunderstood here. I do not think the R7 is a bad bike. In fact, it's a terrific one. It's light, it handles well, and it looks great. But as a first motorcycle, it's a trap. It's expensive, unforgiving, and more likely to teach you regret than confidence. If you're just starting out, go for something that you can drop, learn on, and walk away from. Because trust me, you do not want your first crash to be on a $15,000 mistake. Look, I've seen it so many times before, and those young guys that do crash, it's not just the bike that they get in trouble with. Not only are they broke or in a huge amount of debt, but their riding history is now cooked too, and that can prevent them from getting future bikes. So if I can impart a bit of wisdom, get a bike that suits you for your first motorcycle, not a really expensive, flashy one. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Did you start on an R7? Do you have one now? Let me know. More than happy to talk through it with you guys. But if you did enjoy this video or if you got some info out of it, please make sure to leave a like and hit subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for watching, and until next time, see ya.